So today we're going to create a record inside a secondary list if the record type is not available. So we're going to use an if statement and a patch statement to do that, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing over here in this live demo. So stay tuned. We're going to use these screens to kind of allow you to print screens so you can kind of get a better narrative on what we're doing, and then we'll walk through it over here. So stay tuned, we'll jump right to it. All right, so the scenario here is pretty simple. This shouldn't take that long. What we're doing here, if you look in here, we have new entries here. So we have these right here, and you can see I created a couple. I always like to test before I do a video, make sure it's all working. You can see it automatically adds. This is the journal itself, but the journal comes from a list of IDs that you can see here under the property ID column. So that is the data, and then this is the journal itself. So what we're doing in the app is we're collecting information. Let's just go back here. Let's play this. We're collecting information from the home screen, for example, 3020, and we're building out information here that we're going to capture in this gallery. We talk about this in other videos, but the key to note here is property value, property ID is 30200. Now, when we change this, for example, all of these, notice this went away, but when we click on this and select one, it comes back, right, because it is the data. And we're basically transferring data from the question list into this list, which then will be saved using a patch command. And this list is the PM site journal list. All right, so we're using multiple lists here. So this number is coming from one list, and then these questions are coming from a secondary list, and this is coming from a third list. But the key here that we want to focus on is the creation of this number. So as you're working through the information, we're pulling this var task ID. That's the ID that we're keying in on. Everything is about that task. So if we go back to the home screen here and we take a look at this arrow right here, notice here that we are capturing this data here, this item right here, this number. We're capturing it into this variable, and then we use that variable throughout our application to do all kinds of things, right? We use it to then say, okay, I want to pull up this information about that, and then I want an edit screen here that I can pull up that information. Again, that 30226 is consistent. So that's working the way it should work, and the filter for the gallery itself, if you look, is based on that property, that property ID equal to that variable that we input at the very beginning. And I know I've gone through that really fast, and I apologize. That is an overview of what we're doing. But the video today really is, and if you need to review that again, pause and go back. But the video today is creating an if statement, and I'm going to format this text so it looks maybe a little easier to read through. So what we're doing here is we're saying at the on visible of the application. So when we look at the application screen, notice we're on screen one. We're not on the gallery. We're on screen one. And we're on screen one in the on visible place. Why? Because when this, as soon as we switch from this screen to this screen, as soon as that occurs, I want this logic running in the background saying, hey, look, if the information I just passed you inside of var edit task 3, that's the property ID that we collected from the very first screen, this screen right here, remember? We entered in 302 and we clicked on this little guy right here. If that is the number, if inside the PM site journal, if in this property ID column, one of those numbers already exists, Then I just want you to pull open the information within the tab, which is this, and then, we can input information, whatever we want. But here's the data. I just want you to pull open the current information in that record, right? This information, all this information down, I want you to pull up that information. I'll edit it and then save my changes back to PM Site Journal. I'll copy this information and put it all in there. Perfect. But if it's not, then I need you to create a new record inside of here. I need you to create a new property ID for me inside this PM Site Journal. Because I already know that the property ID table that I have list represents all of the correct IDs. But on occasion, we may pick up some new IDs, and we need to blah, blah, blah. We need to be able to automatically input that information inside the journal when we make a journal action. And once we make a journal action, we want to pull it back up again. So 30200 is one that works, right? So if we go back here, 30200, let's go back, and we're just going to pick 30200, it's the bottom of this list. We're going to hit manager, and notice that we have some information in there now called sample answer. There's the question, and if you look over here, sample answer. So we're good. It picked up the data exactly like we wanted it to. Now, when we go back to the home screen and we go to the top one and we say, show us the screen, it's showing us the screen because it's picking up that. But if you notice here on that one, 30226, there is no additional data. So it's doing everything that it's supposed to be doing. Now, let's go back. Oh, let me show you the code to do this. So this if statement is right here. I've shown you it already a couple of times. So we're saying just count the rows and see if it's equal to 0. If it isn't, else, then we need to patch it. So basically it's saying if it's in the area, great, skip and just go to edit. If it's not and it's equal to 0, meaning it's not represented there, I need you to patch this information right into the list automatically. And basically we're calling the list name here. We're setting it to default, and we're just saying property ID now equals the name of the variable that we selected on the very first screen. I know I keep going back to that first screen because this can get a little confusing. So hopefully my repetition is helping. So let's go back and just see a number that we don't have. We don't have any numbers in this list, just to validate. We don't have any numbers that start with 5. So let's go ahead and just test this, make sure it works. I know it works because I just did it, but let's do it here. So we have some numbers here, 59615. Let's go ahead and click to view those items. Now we get the information here of where it is, the building, etc. Now we're going to go into Manager, and notice when we go into Manager, there'll be a little bit of a delay, and that delay is the right time to write this information into this list. So just keep your eye on that. We're going to click on it. Notice it spun a little bit and came back, and there it is, 59615. And now if we refresh this, we should see 59615 right there. And then if we want to put in, we'll just say answer here. Put in answer video. Okay, so just put in that data just to simulate that it is working. We're going to go back to Power Apps, and we're just going to show. This is 59615. So we're going to hit back and go to Home, and we're going to type again the 3s, 0, 2, and we're going to go into 3200, for example. We're going to look at it, and we're going to see sample answer. Okay, that's not the data that we're looking for, right? We're looking for the data associated that we just added, this new record, 59615. We're going to click on that. We're going to hit Manager, and now there's the information that we put in answer video. So everything's working. So this if statement that we're using here in the on visible section right here, pause the video if you need to, that is working, and it's basically a add new if it doesn't exist, or edit if it exists. It's a great way to use the product, to make quick decisions and keep your users from having, so they're all controlled by this single list, and then keep them, and there's the code right there, keep them from having to go back and hit an add screen or edit screen. We combine both of those screens into one using this code right here illustrated there. Pause the screen again, capture this, and it will work. Take care. Thanks.